how you step into negative thinking while you're thinking about finding love, the dichotomy of love versus discomfort, the push and pull dynamic, and the ground assumption of you are not too broken to have someone who really loves you. Pushing people away in a process of finding love, of finding someone you want in your life, you cherish, and who cherishes you. And inside of this pushing away process, how I want somebody loves me so much that they will stay despite me pushing them away. The gap of who I am and who I pretend to be. This is what it's going to be about in this video. This is a complex and inner topic. I'm very happy that you guys are around. Thank you for all the comments I receive, and we're stepping right into this. Push and pull dynamics of getting into a relationship, finding true love, how negative thinking is determining my decisions, my life, my inner belief system, okay, my inner limitations, which I create basically myself, and how to get out of this. If I have a vision of what I like to live, where I would love to be in my life, in a intimate relationship, or this can start up already with more general relationships where I opening up myself, but it will show itself clearly when I am looking for an intimate relationship and where I am trying to open up. While I'm opening up, I'm falling back into patterns where I push this person away, where I'm looking for the flaws, where I am trying to reproduce my inner critique and my inner limitations and my inner expectations of not wanting to be touched by someone who would be touching this very same thing. You know how I always talk about this very sensitive feeling box, this safe, which I'm guarding like my eyeball, because there is so many strong emotions in there, and there's so much fear in there, and there's so much resistance to getting into a loving relationship where somebody will provide intimacy to me, intimacy, and this would mean also watch or look into this box where I have all my strong feelings guarded in there, and that I am in reality the one who doesn't want to look into this because it is hurtful. Excuse me. I'm trying not to cough, but talking so much. If I'm trying to get into a relationship with a person where I can see it is not a completely, not completely, but it's not an abusive relationship. I want to step out of the relationship dynamics of narcissism, of people who are abusive, of people who are not in my standards, who are not sharing my principles and my values. I want to talk about me being able to enter a relationship where I can start to trust, and where I can start to not only create the vision of what I want, and I need to create this vision, but to maintain myself tuned into this, and how this, let's say, this back and forth, this polarity of and the need for love and the discomfort it causes at the moment that when I am opening up, and while I am in, I call this negotiation in a relationship, this creates this push and pull dynamics that make me want to pull out of it, that make me, let's say, elevate walls or barriers that this other person can't come closer, that this other person wouldn't be able to like overcome these barriers and get to feel me and get to enter into contact with me, and how I can maintain my vision of stepping up into a relationship which I really want, what my heart really longs for, and what I really deserve. So you are not too broken to have someone who really loves you. Maybe you don't believe this so much, and maybe your past relationships haven't reflected this. I've been talking on this channel a whole lot about narcissistic relationships, of a narcissistic upbringing, of coining this term of narcissism, of understanding by using this term dynamics which we used to qualify as, let's put it a little bit like watered down as abusive dynamics, psychologically abusive dynamics, and how this can, how would I say this, how this can condition me to become very careful, very distrustful, very with much elevated inner boundaries, to in the end stay at a point and at an inner state and at a way of feeling or not letting anybody look into this box where all my strong hurt feelings are guarded, are cooking up, are there to just like bubble out for me to finally feel them, to finally make contact with them, to finally enter into what it was back then, to finally dissolve it, and which makes me elevate these limits and these boundaries in an unhealthy way, and that I wouldn't allow a person to come that much closer into my life, not that close into my life as I would love to have this person. I need to drink, I'm still coughing. I'm sorry, just have to do those videos. You're not too broken to have someone who really loves you. What happens if we get into relationships, and each time we get into relationships, we're creating this monster? I'm not talking about dynamics which are there, and which we need to recognize and which we need to get out of. I'm talking about finding a person who might make us step into fearing having to step again into these hurtful moments, but opening up enough to understand that this is not the case, and this is really something we could build on. Nobody's perfect, neither am I, nor is this other person. So to understand that this person comes flawed, that this person comes with their own baggage, that this person comes with their own vulnerability, and that this doesn't mean, if I am healthy with my boundaries, if I am trying to contact, if I'm willing to trust and to go this way, and if I'm willing to open up, this doesn't mean that this person is going to be an abusive person, although it might have moments inside of this relationship when we learn to know each other, when your antennae are going on and you're like, oh my God, it's coming back again, just because you're so fearful of it, just because you're thinking there is going to be somebody who's going to be hurting this box again. How do we step into negative thinking? It's a little bit hard for me to launch on this channel all these narcissistic videos and on how to really be careful with people and keeping people out, and to understanding the dynamics, and to guard yourself and to hold yourself and to be there for yourself. and now going this step out of this box and saying, okay, but there are relationships, there are people who are safe enough for you to enter into a relationship, and you can do this really slowly, and you can really take your time, and you can really check this person out. There is no need for you to jump into relationships and to, let's say, I don't want to say those words, and to really like spit out, all your emotional content over this person to see if this person is safe enough and will anyway stay with you. There are dynamics. When you come out of a maybe really hurt family dynamic and you want to get into a relationship and you want to overcome those dynamics, where there's a whole lot of a need of understanding where I am creating a rupture, where I am creating drama, where I am creating this person to be because I assume that this person would be like this, because I am so fearful and so full of hurt that I'm having my antenna like, like out, like if I was on war, like super attentive to any wrong step this person could take. And how I want to talk about this a little bit, how I can step into a positive thinking, into a self-reassuring thinking, self-assuring thinking, how to get out of a negative thinking, and how to maintain myself in a strong position of what I really want, and to communicate this, and to maintain I heard this saying, like lining on an AM frequency, trying to listen to a FM music, it doesn't work. It's like listening to all your negative experiences, listening to all your distrust, listening to everything what has happened, and it has happened in your life, and projecting this into the real relationship you are in right now. And creating this gap between you two, where this other person doesn't have the opportunity, doesn't have space inside of you to really, let's say, feel you or enter into you, to be present with you, or at least next to you, because there is so much walling, there's so much, upholding, and how to be strong inside of these dynamics, where you take your time and you do evaluate if this person is, let's say, dangerous to you. I mean, let's put it like this, or if this person is just also a human being who protects himself or herself, and who is trying to open up and to understand where you are standing, while this person struggles with their own boundaries, with their own fears, with their own unhealthy upbringing, with their own doubts, with their own fears of getting close, of getting into, again, a relationship which will be again hurtful, which will be again in a way how their relationships were, how their upbringing was, and how this can create like this unsuperable, unovercomable gap, where both people don't seem to be able to bridge it. And I just want to give you a little bit of context of how you can tune into this FM music while you are on the AM frequency, or trying to stay on the AM frequency, and to understand that you have to lift yourself up energetically, in your self-confidence, in your decision-making, in your clarity about what you want to reach, and in working yourself through this. And like this, being able to step out of this inner critique, out of this negative thinking, out of this this limiting belief system, which makes you understand that you will never be able to step up, that you will always have people in your life who won't do good to you, that this person, the people you're going to be letting in because it will hurt at some point, will always be malignant people or people who are hurting you, who will hurt you. Staying with yourself, maintaining, let's say, this discourse, this inner conversation with yourself, where you don't step in on your fear. You can step into your fear once it comes up, but you need to understand where it originated. When I've been talking about maintaining yourself with your inner child, how we call this, or to maintain yourself inside of a negative emotion once it comes up. This means to me to evaluate with with an adult mind what was happening when this originated, that it still causes so much fear and so much rejection of this feeling, inside of me at the moment. It's being mirrored to me again, or it's just being triggered inside of me because it is there, because it is in my box. How to stay in there. If you have the total freedom of, while you go your way of getting into a relationship, of meeting somebody, of opening up slowly, of conversing about conversation, of talking about your standards, about your principles, and understanding where they are and how you need to elevate them and how you need to communicate them and how you need to create this safety inside this beginning relationship. Or maybe it's already an ongoing relationship. This is never too late to start it out, and to understand when each time you're opening up a little bit more, or each time you're becoming a little bit more vulnerable, each time this little box, which is, like kind of determining your life, is, let's say, excuse me, opening up a little bit, and all those strong feelings are coming up, or they are triggered, like a very specific feeling is being triggered, maybe an anxiety which you develop because this person isn't close enough at this moment, because this person needs the space, because this person perceives your neediness, because this person wants something from you that you don't want to give, or whatever this is, and maybe an anxiety comes up. And now, at the moment, you are with yourself, and this anxiety is popping up and is determining basically your life and your thinking and how you want to project yourself into the world and how you think about this goal you have set for yourself. Stay in there. Look at it. Watch it, See what it wants to tell you about. See where it wants to take you to, These fears and these anxieties, they're not generated inside of an empty space. They're not just there, They are there because you have lived them, because you have experienced them, because there were situations in your life when you were out of control because of somebody doing things to you, where you were confused, where you couldn't understand where the path is, where you were afraid of rejection, of abandonment, where you lived and perceived constant abandonment, and where you were insecure, and where you were not whole, where you were not, where there was nobody present to you, where there was nobody standing with you, holding you, being interested in you and what you feel, and not taking your feelings serious. When you get there again, you need to make this contact. You need to understand where did this originate? Where was this coming up? Where does that come from? That you're going to be able to dissolve this feeling and to hopefully, I did this many times, because I needed to go through this to understand where did all those strong feelings in this present moment come up from when I didn't know him? You might walk around with anxiety or with depression or with I don't know, any kind of very strong feelings, with anger outbreaks for lifelong. Might say I haven't forever, but I know there's many of us who haven't had them like this clear forever, and they are coming out at a moment where we are opening up to relationships and where our emotional stratosphere is getting more insecure, and where we are stepping into how and where we have learned how relating is and how relating feels like and what it means to us, and that it could mean stepping back into abandonment, into anxiety, into fear, into abuse, into all kinds of dynamics, and to understand that the moment you stay there and that you hopefully can see how and where it originated. Sometimes it's just like it's like a pure like a flash, like a flashy vision of how this, what you for a long time knew how it was. It was just here knowing, and that you have developed an understanding of what the dynamics were. But then when you stay inside of this upcoming strong emotion and you be there for yourself and you hold yourself and you hold this inner child, that you excuse me, that you might be able to see the entire situation which originated this strong feeling out of the perspective of the child, out of the moment when it originated. This is what I would really wish for you to understand, and to like this keep on developing strategies to hold yourself inside of developing this relationship of holding your distance, but allowing this person to come in always a little bit more, of opening up while you're not opening up too vulnerable, opening up sometimes vulnerable, but being able to self-regulate your emotions and to step out of the vulnerability again, and to not step into this negative thinking that I'm not worth it. It's always been like this. All men, all women are abusive. All men, all women just want sex. Everything, whatever you come up with, will always be the way as your negative thinking and as your inner and subconscious belief system wants to create this inside of you because of your experiences. But it is not the reflection of the reality. I don't want to overlook warning signs overlook warning signs inside of your reality. Please don't get me wrong, but there might be relationships where you are going to be getting all trippy about because of your expectations, and then you start possibly projecting or manifesting them inside of your reality, and this is really dangerous. And I would like you to understand how to create a vision of your future and a vision of this relationship which makes you feel strong and which makes you feel not necessarily this relationship, but what you want for love, for as the relationship, and to stay inside of this creation, inside of this vision, which you're hopefully scripting out and scripting it out like abundantly, with all feelings, with all how this how this fills you with everything which is involved in it, and not only cognitively, but all this like feeling good which causes this inside of you, and to maintain this vision and to get your inner critic, which wants to get you out of this vision, which wants to, let's say, pack you this package of, you're not going to be doing this, look at this box, look at what you've lived, and look what you've all done wrong in the past, and you're not going to do this ever, and you're not worth it, and you don't have the dignity to do it, and you're too broken to have it, and to get out of it each time. Excuse me. Each time this inner critic, each time this inner voice is coming up and wants to convince you of staying down there inside of where your subconscious limiting beliefs are rooted, and just to go this mile in this push and pull process of wanting love and needing love, and the discomfort of of elevating yourself out of this negative belief system where your limiting beliefs want to tell you that you're not going to make it, that you're not that you're not useful for this, that you're not able to do this, that you're too broken to have it. Okay? And to maintain this vision of yourself, and to keep on tuning into this FM music where and it might be a really high goal for you, where you want to step into thinking that this is possible for me, and I will pursue this goal for as long as I need to until I have it, what I want and what I need. And while I go this way, I'm going to be checking much up with my inner critic, who is going to tell me, you can't, you won't, it's not enough, and watch out, this is dangerous, you can't trust people. And to deal with my fears, deal with this box once they come up, once I'm opening up, once I'm observing, becoming vulnerable, and going this next step of stepping into it, and of understanding where did this originate. And also sometimes to, like balancing out, is this real or is this not real? And if this is real, to be able to put the boundaries and to get into the conversation, fearlessness. Without fear, okay? Fearless, okay? To get into a discussion about it, not a discussion, I don't want you to discuss it, but to be vulnerable and to say, when you said this the other day, it really scared me, it was really like, it felt to me like, oh my God, this is going too far. I don't know if I can trust this. I don't know if I can do this step. I don't know if this was a good intention. For me, it would be better if you the next time would ask me first this and that, or it feels good if you listen to me when you're allowing me, let's say, to voice those fears and those doubts I'm having without them, let's say, putting your position into danger, being open to them and to receive them. To maintain your communication with this person you are getting into a relationship with, and to really shut out your negative thinking. Just don't do it. Keep up your goal where you want to get. Keep up your vision. Keep up this feeling, how that feels, and maintain tuned into this FM music, and not trying to maintain listening to FM music, as Bob Proctor said that, while you are here on an AM frequency where your inner critique is, where your fears are, where your anxiety is, where your depression is, and where it is really hard to let's say, reconciliate the need for love and the discomfort it causes at the moment, because you are becoming vulnerable and getting into this push and pull process. I hope this was a little bit helpful for you. I hope I could show a little bit the way of this push and pull process, of the controversy, you can almost say, of opening up, becoming vulnerable, seeing all our fears, being careful with what really is going on. And while I'm trying to not react in a fearful manner, I maintain my vision and I maintain myself in the process of working myself towards that, while I'm not dependent on if you are going with me that way or not, because I am going this way. And if this is going to work out, and if I don't keep on manifesting like my fears inside of you, but getting in contact with those fears, I might be able to live up to this FM music while I'm trying to be, on the AM frequency all the time, and lifting myself all the time again up, and understanding if there are warning signs or if it's simply the inner critic and my fears and anxieties which want to keep me down there and which want to keep me in reality safe, because it feels sometimes very unsafe to get into this box, into this safe, where all my guarded negative feelings are habitating, and to understand that you are not too broken to have a loving and really beautiful relationship, and that you can do it, and not to ask the other person to love you so much while you're pushing them away and making them their lives, let's say, unsupportable, they can't stand it, and then saying, look, because I'm not lovable. I hope this was helpful. If you would like to subscribe, I love to have you. You're going to be part of this community. Want to give me a like? I'm happy to have you too there. And if you are interested in entering in one of the coaching programs with myself in a one-to-one coaching process or into a group process, you can write a mail to Christina@christinajunge.com, and I'll see if I can get you in there. Thank you very much, and send you much love. Bye until the next one. Check the videos out which are coming up left and right. All right.